Okay. Unfortunately, it wasn't all a rosy picture. This wasn't happening in a vacuum. This was set upon a backdrop of overpopulation and growing slums in the cities. Concerns of the Crown about the increase in gin consumption by the masses led to a series of gin acts that were aimed at taming the gin craze, as well as increasing revenues for the state. The first of 4 gin acts from 1729 to 1747 did very little to curb consumption. In 1730, gin consumption reached a whopping 3 million gallons and then had doubled to 6 million gallons 8 years later. Drinking gin, however, was now a crime, so these regulations also led to an increase in civil disobedience and more violent conflict in London. Moral opposition to gin was also on the rise, relating the spirit to drunkenness and debauchery, as seen here in this Gin Lane piece from 1751, depicting the evils of gin consumption. So, did the taxes, legal consequences, moral opposition really work to reduce drinking? Maybe, but the real driving change was poor harvests several years later. This did 3 things. It reduced the availability of grain. It drove up the cost of spirit production. And unfortunately, it also forced small distillers out of business. The one plus side to all of this is that as production costs rose, so did the quality of gin, marking an early premiumization of the market. So in economics, we call this creative destruction. So as some businesses are sadly forced to close, those that survive will innovate, creating new and better products, at least in theory.